You know that moment when she asks, "Where do you want to eat?" And you suggest a place, then she says no. You suggest another place. No again, third place. Still no. But here's the thing, she was never asking about food. She was testing something much deeper. And if you're like 97% of men, you failed before you even opened your mouth. Today, I'm revealing the one thing every woman tests for in every interaction, every conversation, every single moment of your relationship. Master this, and you'll never fail another test again. Ignore this, and you'll spend your entire life confused why women keep losing interest in you. But warning, once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. You'll recognize it everywhere in your past relationships, in your friends' relationships, hell, even in your parents' marriage. And it might piss you off how obvious it's been all along. Let me tell you about two guys. First guy, Mike. Good-looking, successful, drives a nice car. Goes on a date. The woman suggests they should take things slow. Mike immediately agrees, thinks he's being respectful. 3 weeks later, she's dating someone else. Second guy, David. Average-looking, normal job, drives a Honda. Same situation. Woman says they should take things slow. David smiles and says, "That's cool. I'm actually seeing other people anyway, so no rush." She texts him that same night, asking when they can see each other again. What's the difference? Mike failed the test. David passed it. But here's what nobody understands. It wasn't about the response itself. It was about what the response revealed. And that's what we're diving into today. Asterisk, every single test a woman gives you, and I mean every test, is checking for the same thing. Your emotional independence, not your confidence. Not your money, not your looks, not even your masculinity. Your emotional independence. Your ability to be okay without her validation, without her approval, without her presence. Think about it. When she's being distant and cold, she's testing if you'll chase. When she mentions other guys, she's testing if you'll get jealous. When she creates drama, she's testing if you'll get sucked in. When she threatens to leave, she's testing if you'll panic. Every test has the same core question. Does this man need me, or does he want me? And the second she realizes you need her, that your emotional well-being depends on her, you've lost. The attraction dies. The respect evaporates. The relationship begins its slow death, even if it takes years to finally end. You know why? Because, biologically, evolutionarily, psychologically, a woman cannot fully trust a man who needs her for his emotional survival. If you need her to feel good about yourself, how can you protect her when things get tough? If her approval determines your mood, how can she lean on you when she's falling apart? Let's get scientific for a minute. There was this study done at UCLA where they monitored women's hormonal responses during relationship conflicts. They found something fascinating. When men remained emotionally stable during female emotional outbursts, the women's cortisol, that's the stress hormone, decreased 40%, faster than when men tried to match their emotional energy or comfort them. Think about that. Her body literally calms down faster when you don't react to her chaos. Her biology is testing for your stability. Her emotions are waves crashing against you to see if you're a rock or if you're sand. And every time you break, every time you react, every time you need her to stop being upset so you can feel okay, you're proving you're sand. This isn't conscious. She doesn't wake up thinking, "I'm going to test his emotional independence today." It's as automatic as breathing. It's written in her DNA from thousands of years of evolution, where women who chose emotionally unstable men didn't survive. Let me break down the most common tests and what they're really checking. Test 1. We need to talk. Weak response. Immediate panic. What's wrong? What did I do? Strong response. Sure, I've got 20 minutes before the gym. What she learns. Can you maintain your frame when facing potential conflict? Test 2. My ex texted me. Weak response. Getting jealous. Asking questions. Showing insecurity. Strong response. That's nice. Did you finish that show we were watching? What she learns. Does your emotional state depend on her exclusive attention? Test 3. I think we should take a break. Weak response. Begging. Negotiating. Trying to fix things immediately. Strong response. If that's what you need, I understand. Take care. What she learns. Will you crumble without her presence? Test 4. The silent treatment. Weak response. Constantly asking what's wrong. Apologizing for things you didn't do. Strong response. Going about your day normally. Being pleasant but not chasing what she learns. Can you be okay when she withdraws her attention? Test 5. Do you think she's pretty? Weak response. No, baby, you're the only one I see. Strong response. Yeah, she's attractive. But I'm with you, aren't I? What she learns. Are you secure enough to acknowledge reality without fear? Notice the pattern. Every strong response demonstrates that your emotional state, your plans, your life continues regardless of her reactions. You're not mean. You're not dismissive. You're just ... unshakable. Here's the part that breaks most men's brains. The more okay you are with losing her, the less likely you are to lose her. It's completely counterintuitive. Everything in romantic movies, love songs, poetry tells you the opposite. They tell you to show her she's your everything, that you can't live without her, that she completes you. But that's exactly what kills attraction. Because when you can't live without her, you become a burden, not a partner. When she completes you, it means you're incomplete alone. And who wants to be with someone incomplete? I saw this with my friend James. His girlfriend would constantly threaten to break up during arguments. For years, he'd panic, beg, promise to change. Then one day, something shifted. She threatened to leave, and he said, "You know what? Maybe that's for the best. I'll help you pack." She was shocked. Suddenly, she was backpedaling, explaining she didn't mean it. She was just upset. For the first time in their relationship, she realized he didn't need her. He chose her, and that changed everything. They're still together 3 years later. She hasn't threatened to leave once since that day. So how do you develop this emotional independence? How do you become the rock that doesn't crack under testing? Step 1. Build a life that doesn't revolve around her. Have goals that exist independent of your relationship. Maintain friendships she's not part of. Keep hobbies that don't include her. Have a purpose bigger than making her happy. Step 2. Practice outcome independence before every interaction. Remind yourself you're okay with any outcome. If she says yes, cool. If she says no, also cool. Your day doesn't get better or worse based on her reaction. Step 3. Master the 24-hour rule. When she creates drama or tests you, wait 24 hours before responding emotionally. Usually, the problem resolves itself. If it doesn't, you'll respond from logic, not emotion. Step 4. Develop the "oh well" mindset. She's upset. Oh well, she'll work through it. She's testing you. Oh well, You've got other things to focus on, she threatens to leave. Oh well, you were fine before her step 5. Always have options, not necessarily other women, but other sources of fulfillment, other ways to spend your time, other sources of validation and purpose, other reasons to wake up in the morning. This isn't about not caring. It's about caring from a place of strength, not need. It's about choosing to be with her because you want to, not because you have to. The transformation, 17:30 to 19 o'clock. When you master emotional independence, everything changes. She stops testing as much because she already knows the answer. You're solid. You're unshakable. The tests become less frequent, less intense. When she does test, you don't even see them as tests anymore. They're just her having emotions, and you're not responsible for managing them. The dynamic flips. Instead of you constantly trying to prove yourself to her, she starts working to keep your attention. Because for the first time, she realizes you're perfectly capable of walking away and being happy. Your confidence isn't fake anymore. It's real. Because it's not based on her reactions or anyone else's. It's based on your own internal compass. You stop keeping score. You stop wondering if she loves you as much as you love her. You stop analyzing every text, every tone, every expression. Because your emotional state isn't dependent on these things anymore. Look, I know this is hard to accept. We've been programmed from birth to believe that true love means needing someone. That romance is about finding your other half. But that's Disney, not reality. In reality, the strongest relationships are between two complete people who choose each other every day. Not because they need each other to survive, but because they want each other to thrive. The number one thing women test for is simple. Are you a complete man who chooses her? Or are you an incomplete boy who needs her? Every test is just a variation of that question. And now you know the answer she's looking for. Not in your words, but in your energy, your presence, your unshakable frame. Master this, and you don't just pass her tests. You transcend them. You become the kind of man who doesn't get tested in the first place. Because the answer is obvious from the moment she meets you. You're emotionally independent. You're complete. You're choosing, not needing. And ironically, that makes you exactly the kind of man she needs. The question is, are you ready to become that man? Or will you keep failing the same test, wondering why every relationship follows the same pattern? The choice, as always, is yours. But now, at least, you can't say you didn't know what she was testing for. The story that changed everything. Me tell you the story that made all of this click for me. This happened about 5 years ago, and I swear it was like watching a masterclass in real time. I was sitting in a coffee shop, trying to get some work done, when this couple sat down at the table next to me. They were clearly having the talk. You know the one. She was upset about something, and he was in full panic mode. She said, "I just feel like you don't care about this relationship as much as I do. Now, watch what's happened next, because this is where 99% of men fail." The guy immediately launched into defense mode. "Baby, that's not true. You mean everything to me. I think about you all day. I literally changed my entire schedule for you. I stopped hanging out with my friends as much." She cut him off. "That's the problem, Michael. You've changed everything for me. You're not even the same person I fell for anymore." The pain in his eyes, man. You could see his brain short-circuiting. He did everything he thought was right. He made her his priority. He showed her she was his world. and she was telling him that's exactly what killed her. Attraction. But here's where it gets interesting. About 10 minutes into this conversation, her phone rings. She says it's her friend having an emergency, and she needs to go. Classic test. By the way, creating urgency to see if he'll beg her to stay and finish the conversation. Michael started to protest, but we're in the middle of something important. She was already gathering her things. If you actually cared, you'd understand my friend needs me. Another test. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Wrong. Because right then, this older guy at another table, maybe mid-40s, wearing a suit, clearly successful, accidentally knocked over his coffee. It spilled everywhere, including on Michael's girlfriend's purse. The older guy apologized calmly, helped clean up, offered to pay for dry cleaning. But here's what was fascinating. He wasn't frantically apologizing. He wasn't panicking. He just handled it with this calm competence. Michael's girlfriend was flustered, saying it was fine, don't worry about it. The older guy insisted on giving her his business card for the dry cleaning. Then he said something that I'll never forget. Accidents happen. No point in everyone having their day ruined over spilled coffee. You seem stressed enough already. It was like watching a light switch flip in her head. This random stranger had just shown more emotional stability in a genuine accident than her boyfriend had shown in their entire conversation. She thanked him, grabbed her stuff, and left. But not before looking back at Michael with this expression that said everything. It was disappointment mixed with, I don't know, maybe recognition. Like she finally understood what was missing. Michael sat there for another hour, texting her paragraphs. I could see his screen, walls of text, apologies, promises to do better, asking when they could talk again. You know who wasn't texting? The older guy. He just went back to his laptop like nothing happened. About 20 minutes later, the girlfriend came back, but not to Michael's table. She walked up to the older guy and asked if the offer for dry cleaning was still good. They talked for maybe 5 minutes. She was laughing, playing with her hair, all the classic signs. Meanwhile, Michael was watching this happen, still sending texts she wasn't even reading. The lesson hit me like a truck. It wasn't about age, money, or looks. The older guy probably didn't even intend to demonstrate anything. He was just being himself, a man who doesn't lose his emotional center over external events. Spilled coffee. Handle it and move on. Stranger's relationship drama. Not his problem. Attractive woman showing interest. Cool, but he's not derailing his day for it. That's emotional independence in action. I watched Michael eventually leave, shoulders slumped, checking his phone every 3 seconds. His girlfriend stayed another 10 minutes talking to the older guy before leaving, with his business card and a smile. But here's the real kicker. I ran into Michael about a year later. We got to talking, and he told me that day was his wake-up call. His girlfriend never responded to those texts. They were done. But he said it was the best thing that ever happened to him. He started therapy, not to get her back, but to understand why he kept losing himself in relationships. He started rock climbing, something she always said was too dangerous. He reconnected with his friends. He focused on his career, and here's the beautiful irony. She reached out 6 months after the breakup, wanted to catch up, see how he was doing, maybe try again. He declined politely, not out of anger or revenge, but because he genuinely didn't need what she was offering anymore. He'd found something better himself. The last thing he told me, I spent so much time trying to pass her tests that I never realized the biggest test was whether I could walk away. And I failed that test every single day I stayed. That coffee shop incident taught me more about relationship dynamics than any book or seminar ever could. It showed me that emotional independence isn't a technique or a strategy. It's a way of being, when you truly don't need someone else to complete you. When your emotional state isn't held hostage by another person's moods. When you can watch chaos unfold around you and maintain your center, that's when you become truly attractive, not just to women, but to life itself. Opportunities come to you. People respect you. And yes, women desire you, because you're not a leaf blown around by every emotional wind. You're the tree, rooted, solid, unmovable, and that coffee shop. I go there every week now, not hoping to see another relationship drama unfold, but as a reminder of what happens when you lose yourself in someone else, and what's possible when you find yourself again. The older guy. I see him there sometimes. Always alone, always working, always at peace. I asked him once if he remembered that day with the spilled coffee. He laughed and said, "Which time?" I spill coffee at least once a month. That's when I knew it wasn't a performance. It wasn't a technique. It was just who he was. Emotionally independent, unshakable, free. And that's what every test is really measuring. Not whether you can figure out the right answer, but whether you're the kind of man who doesn't need to figure it out because the answer is already who you are.